Was yesterday the best game of Bo Nix's young career?
No.
No, you think he had a better game last year?
Yeah,
somewhere in there?
consider this. I'd say consider the competition. I thought.
Oh, okay. Because KJ put that in the notes, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking of it. How much of last night is the Broncos are good, and how much of it is the Bengals suck?
I don't know. I mean, there's an argument can be made about Bo Nix and his, just having that 300-plus performance. I think he's had 2 others. Is that right?
Has it last year? I know last year he had a couple of 300-yard games, but I can't recall where they were. But I'll tell you right now. Let's take a look.
I got him right here. Okay, so going into this game for this season, man, you had a 176-yard, 2-interception performance against the Titans. Blech. You had a 206-yard, 3-touchdown, 1-interception performance against the Colts, which was obviously his better performance of the first 3, and then 56%, 1 touchdown, 153 yards against the Chargers, and missed a bunch of open cats.
This is the most yards Bo's ever thrown for in a game. Just a little bit more
felt
than
that
that win over Kansas City last year when Kansas City played Carson Wentz. Bo had 321 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game, which is probably the best game of his NFL
I felt
career.
ironically, the best performance that just the moment and rising to the moment. To me, last year's performance against the Chiefs was a 22 of 30 for a 73.3%, and this is at Kansas City with Pat Mahomes playing.
Yeah.
And
this is the field goal game, the one
22 of 30 for 215, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and then he also, I thought he played really, really good situational football. It's interesting. When you look at QBR, which is this ESPN metric that takes into a lot of different things, his best 2 games last year was the stupid game against the Chiefs that didn't really count.
Right.
He played against the backups. You know what's funny? Last night felt like that game.
Yeah.
So this current iteration of the Bengals felt like
Kansas City with their second string.
15 and what were they? 15 and 1?
Yeah. Yeah, they
15 and 1 Kansas City Cheeks. They just said, "Yeah, we're just going to roll out all of our practice squad."
That's what I mean. I mean, if you're the Bengals owner ain't going to do anything because he's the Bengals owner. But if I own the team and I saw a team quit on my head coach, I hate to say it because I hate to call for somebody's firing. I'm not sure how much more time Zach Taylor would be spending in his office there. You know what I mean? The team quit on that man. They quit on themselves. They quit on each other, which is the worst thing you can say about a professional athlete is that they gave up in the middle of the game, man. That is tough to get by. But, if you're the Broncos, you don't care. Take advantage of it.
So
get it.
This was the second best QBR of Bo Nix's Denver Bronco career behind the January 5th debacle. Just whatever you want to call it. 38-0 against Kansas City Chiefs backups. That was a 96.8. This was an 82. And then after that, you remember Bo Nix kind of went off against the Falcons last year. Remember when Kirk Cousins just looked like absolute buns?
Yeah.
And that kind of led to the end of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and they brought Penix in.
Bo Nix had a great run last year against NFC South teams. 77.2 QB rating last year against New Orleans, 71.6 against Tampa, and against Atlanta, 72.2. And then the Panthers, right? They're in there too.
Yeah. Do you think this
78.3.
Do you think last night unlocked what the Broncos were like, this is it. We found it. This is it. This is the game plan. This is what we want to do.
Now, it doesn't mean that it's all autopilot, cruise control, right into Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah.
You're gonna be facing a really good defense. You're gonna see pass rush. But I think Bo Nix is gonna acquit himself well. I think he's gonna play. I think this is the game I think Bo is a real human. Even though sometimes I feel like he's a robot, right?
Yeah.
Externally. I think he's a real human with real human emotions. I think he hears and or feels a lot of the external, certainly through the first 3 weeks. This was a massive sigh of relief. But it was also I'm back.
Okay.
I'm feeling back.
But
this
you have
is
to
what
do
I
it
needed.
again, right?
Yeah.
You have to do it again.
But when you have the recency of feeling what it feels like to play that way, it helps you.
It's a whole lot.
Go into the next game. I'm just glad.
Well, the next game could be the best team they play all season.
Should be.
So
the one thing that's different though is that the Eagles don't just score in droves, right? So you just need to play good, clean football. You need to run the football. You need to. The game against the Eagles is kind of going to come down. Hey, man, the Broncos have built this thing around an unbelievable front seven defensively and a very expensive offensive line that I believe last night against the bad Bengals front, Sean Payton leaned into what that offensive line unit does really, really well. Gap schemes, power, counter, duo. That's what this team needs to do. Do it again. Do it better. And even if it isn't 5.7 yards per carry like J.K. Dobbins had, I think he was 6.
It was over 6. It was like 6.3 or something.
6.3. He's 5.7 on the season. But
that's still ridiculous.
Really good. Even if it's the body blows early, man, 3 yards, 2 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. Those lead to 8 yards, 12 yards.
I mean, because you mentioned the body blows. You're facing the defending. You were facing the super. You're facing the champ, man. Can you take that punch? Can you take some punch and then can you give some back? Because the Philadelphia Eagles, this entire season, it feels like you watch the first half of their games, you're like, I don't know what's going on. And then they get to the second half and the Eagles realize they're like, oh yeah, that's right, we're the champions. And then they just steamrolled it. And then they just they put 31 on Tampa, they put 33 on LA. You put 30 plus points on the Broncos, you win it because. Can Bo Nix in that offense we saw last night, the one that went over 500 yards of total offense, can that offense, can JK and RJ and Cortland and Bo put 30 or more points on the Eagles this weekend? No. So the defense is going to have to have their best game of the season because that means you got to hold Philly to those scores they had at the beginning of the season when they were winning by 24. Let's say they beat Dallas 24-20. They beat Kansas City by scoring just 20 points. That feels like that's what the kind of game is going to be on Sunday, like a 20-17 kind of game. Because if it's anything other than that, the Broncos are getting housed. And I would prefer not to have that. I'd prefer not to go from your best win to your worst win in the season, all within a span of 6 days.
Do you believe that the Broncos have a better defense than the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh, yeah.
Dallas allowed 24 points to the Eagles.
Yeah, this will be the best defense the Eagles have seen all season, right? Because who was on that list?
Week 2 at Kansas City.
It's a pretty good defense.
I think the Broncos are a better defense than Kansas City. I don't think that in these type of moments, because Bo Nix and this offense haven't been consistently in these games where you're playing against the best of the best and every little thing matters. Mm-hmm. And it catches up to you, like the pass to R.J. Harvey yesterday that was dropped. I thought that was a drop by R.J. Harvey. And I've been very critical of Bo with wide open dudes.
Right. And then it felt like, man, it was even Troy who kind of put that on Bo. He's like, that's a little short, but he could have caught it. And everyone's like, well, no, man. If it hits you in the hands and you catch it, you can't. I'm not putting – if the quarterback gets the ball to you and it hits your hands, you cannot put that incompletion on the quarterback. You know what I mean? You got to catch that. This is the NFL. This is the real league. How about this, Coach? I want this answer from you. Let's talk about which players were in the groove last night, presented by Groove Toyota. Start here, go anywhere. Groove Toyota on South Broadway and GrooveToyota.com. All right, who was in the groove? Listen. There's a bunch of Bronco players in the groove. Who do you think was the best player for the Broncos last night?
The best player for the Denver Broncos last night and most impactful for this team and where it needs to go going forward is your quarterback, Bo Nix, because he was in rhythm. He made a lot of the fundamental changes that he needed to. And if anybody's saying it's because the Bengals are terrible, well, guess who else is terrible? The Tennessee Titans. They are awful.
Yeah, they're real bad.
They're worse. They're a worse overall football team. They're an 0-4 team, are they not?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes,
and Bo Nix looked awful against the Tennessee Titans.
In fact,
awful. I would argue it's his worst game of the season so far.
Oh, really?
He was terrible in that game.
Yeah, he was.
And you know what? You did what you had to do, and you got back in rhythm, and you were great last night against the bad team. But you were awful against the bad team earlier in the year.
How much of that was the play call? How much of that is Sean Payton being like, all right, I've got 3 games. I think I know exactly what is and is not going through Bo's head. I think I got a game plan that's going to beat Cincinnati and build Bo up at the same time. How much, or was it just like Bo, like getting his head right after
Yes.
those long balls?
I think it was a bit of both.
Okay.
But I do think Sean Payton, and he'll never admit this, I think he knows legacies, stats, they do define quarterbacks, in terms of touchdown passes. Like the 4th and 2 touchdown, or the 4th and 2 interception that Bo Nix threw in the red zone on the 2-yard line. Like Sean wanted to get him a touchdown there, touchdown pass. Because it goes into like everybody, and those are catty, petty little things that at the like.
But I appreciate it.
Probably, especially if you're, because the NFL right now, and Sean gets this, man. The big picture of the NFL, so much of what drives the NFL is people's interest in fantasy football and betting, sports betting.
Yeah.
And so touchdown passes, hitting overs, all that stuff matters. And it changes perception. At the end of the season, you look at how many touchdowns versus how many interceptions. You look at, touchdown percentage rates, all that. And so as a play caller, you sometimes make decisions that might even be slightly egregious because you're like, I want to get my guy another touchdown.
Yeah.
You know why?
You
know why?
Why?
Because I love my cue.
He loves his cue.
I love my cue.
He's just leaving messages across town how much he loves his cue. But I get it as well. None of that. Sean Payton seems like the exact kind of coach who would get caught up in the emotion of because Mile High's going nuts last night. It's rowdy. It's loudy. The Broncos are playing well. Everybody's happy.
I like that. Rowd and loudy equals loudy.
And you're sitting there and you're Sean Payton. You're like, all right, home fans, I got a little something for you. Here's a touchdown on 4th down. Let's go. And I like it. I like a lot of the things that people hate about Sean Payton, including his pettiness. I kind of like it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Be petty, Sean. Get crazy. Put it on the Bengals. Go wild. But then again, you got to come back to earth when you play Philadelphia in a week's time. So why not go off with Cincinnati? Put up a big number, man. I'm scared. But I do feel like after this Eagles game on Sunday, I feel like we're going to have almost a full 360 view of exactly who this Denver Bronco team is. Because we know now what they look like when they play a bad team. And guess what? This is how they looked last year against bad teams. And it's been the major criticism of the Sean Payton Broncos is, yeah, man, you win these games against bad teams, go out and beat a good one. Find me a good team. And if you can get a win against Philadelphia, I don't care how you do it. You find a way to beat Philadelphia this week, I will begin to believe the hype that Sean Payton was putting on this team at the beginning. I will start to believe the whole, okay, maybe this is a Super Bowl team.